1. So the other night I had what was probably the most immature woman at my table ever. From her tone of voice to the way she acted. It started with their drinks. I asked what drinks they wanted, and they got a kid's drink, and then the woman and man both wanted the most generic beer. So I asked, regular or talls? After some mumbling, the husband said, regulars. So I got them regular beers. Then I went to drop off the beers, and the woman said, is this a tall? Oh, that's a regular beer like he asked for. But I wanted a tall. I could go grab that for you instead if you'd like. No, I'll just drink this. Okay, whatever. Then I got their appetizer order and kids' meal, as that was all they were having there. Their appetizer came out before the kids' meal, and when I dropped it, I said, they're working on that kids' meal in the back, but can I get that to-go order going for you? As I knew they were in a rush. They order 4 things to go, and the lady says, where's the kids' meal? I'll go check on that in just a moment. I wasn't quite ready, so I put in the to-go order, but we didn't have a couple things, so I went and told them. This lady looked like I had just told her she was terminally ill or something. She flipped out, getting all pouty, and cancelled her part of the takeout that we were missing one ingredient on. But I had already put in one part of the takeout we did have. So I got alternate orders for other things, and right as I'm leaving, she asks, and my son's food? In a less than friendly tone, I reiterated that it would be just a moment. I brought out the son's food and got their to-go food all bagged and went out and told them, whenever you're ready, I have that to-go order in the hot box so it stays warm. Why wouldn't you bring our food out to us? To which I replied, I wasn't sure if you were ready and wanted to make sure it stayed warm for you, but I'll go get that now. Then I brought it out to them and got them out and was happy they were gone. While this was happening, I was keeping my manager in the loop about it, just in case. And when she walked by, this woman literally snapped her way before she could even say anything, and chased off a really sweet host we have when she was trying to help. Anyway, that woman was just a handful from start to end, and I was happy when she left. 2. I work in a pretty small restaurant. We're very busy with walk-ins, and we have a lot of DoorDash and those app orders. For some backstory, we have some house sauces that we have to make and fill in hundreds of cups ourselves daily. Filling the cups takes me legit 3 hours, as we have several different options, and I'm also dealing with the register and customers in between, etc. Those sauces are gone in a heartbeat because they are really fucking delicious and everyone loves them. Every meal comes with 1 sauce. If you want extra sauce, they're $1 each. They're pretty big cups. And if someone wants more than 1 extra sauce, I more often than not give them for free. The times I don't are the times we have very little batch left, and I know I'll need it for the actual orders, and I don't have time to refill, only 'cause I give out for free. But when you want 5 extra sauces, well, then you have to pay. I can't just give out that many extra sauces because 1, my boss would kill me, and 2, it's not reasonable since so many ask for several extra free sauces, especially the app orders. I'd end up giving out 100 extra sauces on my shift only. This entitled moron calls in yesterday, and my god, she enraged me. Hi, how are you? My name's Moron. I just placed an order through DoorDash. Did you get it? Yes, I did. Actually, I forgot to add sauces, and we love sauces. Can you please put in a couple of every sauce you have? How many do you want? 6 would be great. Okay, no problem. We actually have this thing on DoorDash where I can add whatever extra you want and they'll charge you. Charge me? You can't just give me the sauces? I always order and then call the restaurant and they send free sauces. This is our first time ordering with you. Oh, but I thought you said that you forgot to add the sauces, so you didn't forget, because that's what you said. How much are the extra sauces? $1 each. Okay, I guess then just add 1. I mean, usually we just call and we get the sauces for free, but it's okay. I'm just very confused because you call me and say you forgot adding sauces. And now that you have the option, you're saying you didn't forget, but you just wanted to get free sauces. I always do that and never had any problems. This is, like I said, our first time ordering from you guys. Honestly, I'm done with customers at this point. Just be upfront and say you want sauces for free. I'd respect that much more. And I don't give a fuck if it's your first time, because it's my 20th time today having people either call or write in the orders. Please also add 4 extra sauces. Stop being so fucking cheap and add whatever extra you want when you order. When I order delivery myself, I go and add exactly what I want and would never dream of calling and begging for free shit. Another customer had the audacity to write in the notes on their DoorDash order, "The last couple of times I've asked for extra sauces and never get it. I want 3 extra sauces, and don't even bother making my order if you don't include the extra sauces." I immediately cancelled the order. Am I being unreasonable? 3. Hey everyone, my coworkers and I have had it with our restaurant. This is the 5th restaurant and bar I've worked at, and it's by far the worst. For context, it's a busy upscale restaurant located in New York City, with locations around the US. I thought the guests would be the issue, since it's New York, but the issue is that the place is extremely corporate and they treat us like garbage. Here are just a few of my grievances. Constant micromanaging and pettiness. They push us incredibly hard and never have anything to say, unless it's condescending, degrading, or belittling. My managers never ask how I'm doing unless it's followed with a, "Oh, that's nice. Well, I have something special for you today. I've been noticing you doing X, Y, and Z, and I want you to do Y, Z, and X." They will get on us about our hair, nails, and makeup not being good enough. They will follow us around the dining room telling us we need to walk straighter and smile bigger. 2 days ago, they chewed me out pretty bad for setting a drink down with a lemon wedge that was not quite at 3 o'clock. No family meals or food. We almost always work shifts that run over 8 hours, and there is no food provided. They used to, in the past, provide family meals, as well as put out any leftover rice for servers at the end of the night. They stopped doing this months ago and cited COVID as a reason. However, other locations are still given family meal. They will also throw out perfectly good mistakes instead of giving them to the servers. Otherwise, we will ignore our tables in order to eat. No bussers or food runners. We are expected to provide 5-star impeccable service, with time standards that are insane at our tables every 2 minutes, and our tables are often spread out quite far from each other, while simultaneously running all the food to the dining room and bar, putting away dishes and working racks in the middle of a shift, cleaning the entire bathroom several times during a busy shift, wiping and setting tables, refilling water glasses, etc. I am used to working in small restaurants where the server takes on multiple roles, but never at such a large restaurant where the expectations were so high. One manager might order me to restroom check while I'm replacing all the toilet paper rolls. They must be replaced if they are a quarter full or less. Another manager is running around the dining room looking for me because one of my guests has downed his water in a single gulp, and I'm not there to refill it. Toxic work environment in other ways. If we are folding linen side by side and talking, we were made to feel like we were lazy and told only one person can fold so we don't distract each other. If you have anything to do, you must continue to walk circles around the dining room so it gives the appearance of being busy. In addition, a coworker of mine was fired yesterday over a bad review. He had no prior write-ups. Someone from corporate must have read the review and decided he should go. We are also not allowed to ask for time off, even if it's months in advance. We must organize all of our shifts to be covered. This is extremely frustrating when you already work 4 or 5 days a week, because you will have to swap with others, which means you might end up working 7 days in a row one week just to get extra days off the following week. Not given easy access to water, their entire system is set up, so we must keep moving, and there is always hot food coming up in the window to be run all day and all night. Managers spend the entire night yelling, hot food, runners now," and will quite literally grab you and force you to run, even if you're struggling to go to the kitchen to get a drink. There are times when I've had to shake them off and shout back, "I need to get water or I'm going to pass out," only for them to begrudgingly let me go. We are forbidden to leave cups anywhere, so the only place you can get water is if you put your water bottle in the back of the walk-in fridge. It is extremely difficult to get there enough times during a busy shift. Every server complains about being so dehydrated they feel weak and headachy the next day. I'm so hesitant to bring my water bottle because one night I left it there in accident and it was thrown out. Money is average. Lots of false advertising surrounding this. When you're hired, they tell you what a privilege it is to work there and how you're going to be making a killing. However, I helped out a friend the other night at a dive bar, and I just made a little less than I would have working the same shift at my restaurant. Working doubles with no breaks. One time I clocked out nearly 12 hours and was told I could break for 10 minutes. I refused to clock out during this time because I wasn't able to sit down. I scarfed down my food while hiding in a corner in the kitchen and kept working. I served from 11 a.m. to 1 a.m. I now pretty much refuse to double because I'm scared of not getting a break if it's deemed too busy. But a lot of other servers do this regularly. I could keep going, but at this point I'd have to write a novel. I guess my question is, what can we do? My coworkers and I are already looking for new jobs. I feel terrible for the next set of servers that come through. They will waste so much time training for this job, nearly 2 weeks of training alone, plus all the money spent buying our uniforms, just for them to find out they're not making as much money as they thought they would, and they'll be gaslit and emotionally abused the whole time. Isn't there anything we can do to get them to treat their servers better? The only thing I can think of is if 10 or so of us band together and give their notices all in the same day. Thanks for the advice. 4. So let me start by saying I'm not sure if bullying is the correct term for this, but it's definitely along the lines of preferential treatment or just plain being a power-mad bitch. I have several issues with my front-of-house manager, but I just want to mention the ones that involve me specifically. I work at a small non-corporate restaurant. We have no HR. There are technically 4 managers at the place I work. The owner, the front-of-house manager, the kitchen manager, and then another manager who's just as powerful as the owner, but don't know his specific job title. The owner and his right-hand man are hardly ever there, so they don't see everything that happens in the restaurant. The kitchen manager is there regular hours, not too much insane overtime, and the front-of-house manager seems like she never leaves. She comes in 7 days a week, stays over 12 hours most days, and she really isn't needed most of that time, and she thinks the place would start on fire if she took a day off. Before she was promoted to front-of-house management, we went without a front-of-house manager for close to 6 months, and we were honestly fine. But it is nice to have someone in charge. She was a server at the restaurant before, prior to promotion, and she wasn't a senior server or anything. At first, she wasn't so bad, but she immediately got the assistant manager, her equal at the time, fired, and she's only gotten worse. She will target people for a variety of reasons, and instead of having a conversation about whatever the underlying issue is, she will send out a message on the scheduling app that is obviously directed at an individual person, and she will cut their hours sometimes to the point where they aren't scheduled anymore instead of firing them. She has pushed several good employees out because of the targeted bullying. One bartender quit because the front-of-house manager refused to help her pour her drinks when she was busy. Meanwhile, she helps all the other bartenders when they're busy. And instead of helping her, just stood at the end of the bar belittling her for not being able to keep up, and that anyone else could do it. I believe this is the front-of-house manager retaliating for the bartender asking the owner if she could try working a night shift instead of only mornings. She went to the owner after asking the front-of-house manager the same thing several times and getting no answer. So I believe this was the front-of-house retaliating against her for going above her head. She also fired our best bartender recently, a month after he was promoted to bar manager, for apparently missing too much work and overserving a customer a long time ago, and a majority of those days being COVID sick days. Also, our front-of-house turnover rate is extremely high, because the front-of-house manager will also bully random new people, because she feels like it. Now I am being targeted. She sent out a very long message in our scheduling app about me basically taking too many tables and making support staff be my personal assistant. What happened was that on a morning shift our restaurant got slammed unexpectedly. It's a restaurant, it happens, and either the other server was off the property for their break, or the other server couldn't handle any more tables, so they asked me to take them. So the message seemed to be targeting me, and of course, I had a pit in my stomach until the next time I worked, thinking that I pissed off one of my coworkers that I worked with that day. But I spoke with all of them, and they said no, they didn't care. But my boss was basically questioning what happened during the morning shift, and trying to get them to say something, like I was stealing tables or something, that they would get me into more trouble. I know that message was about me for a fact because she told several of my coworkers that they shouldn't worry, the message was about me and not them. The next time I came in for a scheduled shift, the front-of-house manager and I made eye contact, like she ran in the other direction because she can't talk about issues in person, so she avoids them. I had to wait until she was in her office to basically blindside her and apologize if I did anything wrong, even though I know I didn't. Recently I wore shorts to work, the same shorts that I have worn without a problem for the last 2 summers, and she saw me getting out of my car outside before I had a chance to pull them back down, that she could see my butt cheeks. She walked in behind me and not to wear them again. However, she didn't say this to me when we were outside together privately. She waited until we walked into the restaurant to announce it. I asked the owner of the restaurant if my shorts were okay, and explained how I had worn them in the past, etc. And he said that they were fine, and he talked to the front-of-house manager. As I was leaving that night, my front-of-house manager told me not to wear those shorts again, and I told her that I spoke to the owner, and he said they were fine. So until there is a more specific dress code, I'm going to continue wearing them. Coincidentally, not even 24 hours later, a message was sent out saying that there had been some issues regarding short length and what's appropriate, and how they need to be mid-thigh length, etc., and that anyone wearing too short of shorts will be sent home. The next day I worked, 2 girls were wearing shorts. 1 girl was wearing shorts that were the same length, if not shorter, than the ones I wore previously, and my manager said they were fine to wear. I immediately was pissed and ran into my manager, and asked why it was okay for other servers to wear shorts like the ones I had been wearing, but not me. And the front-of-house manager said they were longer. I just so happened to have pictures on my phone from the day she told me my shorts were too short, and pulled it out for proof, and then she made the first girl go home and change. And nothing happened with the other girl, so after that I knew that message was specifically talking about me. Again, probably retaliation from asking the owner for a second opinion. As I mentioned before, we're a small restaurant and have no HR. The closest thing we have is the owner's right-hand man, so I sent him a long and thorough text about how I felt I was being targeted for X, Y, and Z reasons. He responded saying that he's sorry I feel that they are directed towards me, but if you read them from a manager's perspective, they are reasonable, and I can agree the shorts one was to let new staff know the dress code also. But she also sent it out in regards to me, since she was allowing other girls to wear shorts just as short. Then in text he told me that the tables need to be kept fair as possible, and that I should ask other servers to come off break early, to which I reminded him they're not on the property, and he told me that I could get them waters and let them wait until the other server got back. Customers would be pissed. Also mentioned to him that I think it's inappropriate and unprofessional for the front-of-house manager going around gossiping about other employees and telling them the messages she sent were about me. Him and I ended up meeting in person, and prior to meeting in person, I wrote a note to make sure I hit all of the points about her that they don't see because they're hardly ever there. He basically said I turned this shorts thing into a big issue when it never should have been. I believe in fairness, so if one person can't do something, then neither can the other. He said it was weird I had a list of complaints of her on my phone. He said that basically when I work Saturday mornings, that when the other server goes on break, and I get a lot of tables, I should transfer some of them when they get back. To which I said, why would I do that if I did all the work? And told him that's the risk you take taking a break as a server, and I don't work for free. He said that he could do an investigation to see how it is that I'm making more money than most people most weeks, and if I was stealing tables from people, or taking people and claiming I know them, and screwing other servers, and apparently we've had that convo before. We haven't had that convo. I have been there between 3 to 5 years, and it's a restaurant in my hometown, so I do have a lot of regulars who request me. And he told me that it was weird that I asked him in addition to the owner on Wednesday if my shorts were appropriate to wear. That it was inappropriate because then he had to look down at my legs. I also mentioned that the first message she sent out was regarding me because she literally told people. To which he responded that's just hearsay and he doesn't believe that. My front of house boss also told him I was taking pictures of other employees in their shorts, which I got scolded for being so inappropriate, etc. I told him that was absolutely not true. I have pictures of my own shorts in my phone, and he was more than welcome to look at my phone if he wanted. I know that other people have to deal with much worse treatment at their jobs, and this post might be an eye roll to some, but I am extremely depressed and disappointed in the lack of support by management, and have been crying off and on about this for days. I used to love my job, my co-workers, my customers, etc., but now I dread going to work most days, and it all leads back to the front of house manager. And now I know she's going to do something to retaliate against me for talking to the other boss about problems I've been having with her, and that I'm the next one she's going to push out or find a reason to fire. I just feel very gaslit, disrespected, gross and manipulated by the entire thing. Luckily, most of the front of house feels the same, and has their own complaints they'd like addressed, so we're planning to call a meeting with the managers. We're hoping we'll be taken seriously because of the amount of people that are on board and have issues. Wish us luck, and thanks for listening to my post. 5. This happened a couple of months ago. 2 groups of guys in my small-town dive bar. Group A of guys was inside shooting some casual bar pool. Group B is outside smoking some stogies and enjoying the spring weather. No issue between the groups for the entire afternoon. Only 3 of us working, tavern-style service. Both groups about 4 people each. One of Group A's girlfriends arrives, parks, and on her way in she hears some crass words being shouted out from the patio. Penis, cock, balls. That kind of immature shit. None of this was known beforehand, but after everything settled down, and goes right in to tell her boyfriend about it. I see her skip the bar and head right to the pool table, but didn't think much of it. I'm in the back chugging down some water since our AC doesn't work half as well as it should, and the manager on duty is out back for a smoke break. I come out of the back and my co-worker who was out front points at me and goes, "Sans gris with me." Like we're about to go into battle or some shit. Should have been my first heads up, but I was still clueless that there was tension in the air at the time, having stepped into the back less than 30 seconds before. Co-worker and I finally get outside, and the 2 groups are not getting into it at all. Just the boyfriend of Group A is getting into another dude's face from Group B, just fronting or some shit. We go in to break it up when boyfriend Blue Shirt turns around and shoves my co-worker away. Then things get really heated. He, co-worker, shouts for all of Group A to get the fuck inside and pay their tab because they're getting kicked out. Luckily they do, and Group A is able to restrain Blue Shirt and bring him inside. They try to tell us what was happening and that they weren't in the wrong, but co-worker isn't hearing any of that shit. He did get shoved and I understand the sentiment. They eventually slow down enough to say that Group B was catcalling Group A's girlfriend on her way in. But my coworker doesn't care, or isn't buying it, since Group B has a regular in it that's pretty well regarded and is a server at a different restaurant. Group A lady threatens to call the cops because that's sexual harassment, and coworker says, "Go ahead and do that, you stupid bitch." The fuck, bro? And all hell breaks loose. Group A starts getting aggressive on the bar, and I try to herd them back while also yelling at my coworker that we're supposed to de-escalate. De-escalate! The manager gets back from her smoke break, takes all of 2 seconds to take it all in, before pointing at me and yells, "Sans Gray, take him to the back, now!" Pointing at my coworker. Points at Group A, "Sit!" And then I lose track of things after I take my super unchill coworker to the back. It eventually comes out that, yeah, someone from Group B did say that, but only because Group A girlfriend drives the same car as Group B girlfriend. And when Blue Shirt from Group A came out to confront Group B, "Did you say that to my girl?" Instead of saying, "Oh yeah, I'm sorry about that, my girlfriend drives the same car as yours, so we did some immature shit to be funny, but we stopped when we realized that it was somebody else. I hope you understand." This dumb motherfucker said, "What are you gonna do about it?" Fucking drunk people. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Spinning Plates, episode 173. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. And now that you've watched the video and hopefully enjoyed it, I'd appreciate it if you'd serve it up to all your friends, family, co-workers, and anyone who comes to your door asking if you've heard the good word about Jesus. Today is a day of the week. Well, it's Saturday. Those listening in the far future, Spinning Plates usually went up on a Saturday. It's an interesting bit of historical trivia there for you. And I don't think we have any special shout-outs today, but we do have a Hellfreezer's question of the day. All right. As old Hellfreezer is having to make some lifestyle changes in order to make sure he still has a life in which to style, I'm dusting off some old recipes and looking for new ones, ways of having versions of things I used to like, but maybe a bit healthier. Like, for example, vegan mac and cheese. Yes, it's a thing. I might be making that this weekend or sometime this week. It's basically just the sauce is made with vegetables. I'll be subbing out the regular pasta for whole wheat, that sort of thing. Just making it a bit healthier. Still not something you'd want to have constantly, though. So what are some of your, it's not quite the same, but it's still not bad things? I've certainly had a number of meat-free burgers recently, over the years, and many times even, that have been quite good. Oftentimes getting close enough to the point you'd have a hard time telling the difference once you've got all the stuff on it. So what are some of yours? Your favorite healthy options or healthy alternatives to things you've had to give up? That's probably a good way to put it. If you'd be so good as to leave your answers in a comment below. And with that, I'm going to head off for now. So until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourself.